This is Chris Kell with your Peak Fitness Foundation Core Routine. Now, for our Foundation Core Routine, I'm going to describe a series of exercises that we're going to perform each for a period of 30 seconds. Okay? You can, if you're not able to hold in the correct position for 30 seconds, you can break it up into 10-second increments, and I'll give you ways to make them harder or easier. The goal, though, is to hold for 30 seconds before we move to the next level of difficulty. With that said, our first exercise is what is called a frontal plank. Okay, and with a frontal plank, what I'm trying to do is keep my back flat like a table. Okay, and level one of the frontal plank would be performed on a chair. Okay, so I'm going to start. Just want to make sure my back is flat. I'm going to get my feet together, raise it up, make sure my abs and my butt are tight, and then I'm feeling this in my stomach versus anywhere else, such as my shoulders and my low back. I'm thinking about kind of just holding in this position, pressing my heels together, getting as tight as possible, and being able to hold for just 30 seconds, okay? And the key with this is that you should be able to breathe, all right? You shouldn't be, squeezing your abs so much that your face is red. But if you're able to do that with proper form, we can move to the floor, okay? And with this, I'm just going to move into, once again, a plank position. My back should look perfectly flat. I should be able to keep my butt, my abs tight, and be able to take deep breaths in this position, okay? So this would be level two. The final level would be just to add a little bit of a march. So what you do is you hold the same position, you just raise one foot up slightly off the ground, raise the other leg slightly off the ground, and once again, we want to keep the back relatively flat. And I'm thinking about moving just at a very slow and controlled pace, and just making sure that everything kind of remains symmetrical, so no rotation for the waist. Now our next exercise is going to be a side plank. Okay, with a side plank, what I want to do is just open my hand up, think about squeezing my shoulder blade down and back. I don't want to shrug my shoulders as I'm doing this. Okay, and what I'm going to do is just raise it up and hold in this position. Okay, I'm really pressing down into the ground, making sure I feel it's here versus anywhere else. I can also grab my wrists here to kind of get this more in my side versus the shoulder. And again, I'm just holding for 30 seconds, all right? The next level of difficulty for this, okay, to make this, it would just be to extend one leg out, okay, and just either hold it on the ground or slightly off the ground. Once again, just holding for 30 seconds. The last level of difficulty would be just to add a little bit of a leg raise in the split leg side plank position, all right? So once again, each is for 30 seconds. Make sure everything is nice and straight versus rotated or, feeling this in the shoulder. My last exercise is a supine bridge, okay, and what that means is I'm just lying on my back. I'm going to put my hands on my butt, raise up as high as I can, squeeze my butt cheeks, and push my knees way out. Okay, once again, I'm feeling this in my butt cheeks. I want to make sure that there's a straight line from my shoulders all the way up to my knees, and then I'm able to hold in this position without feeling this mainly in my hamstrings or anywhere other than my butt cheeks, all right? Now, this would be level one. Usually, this is relatively easy. Okay, from here, I'm going to move to the next level of difficulty, which would be a bridge march. I'm going to lift one foot slightly off the ground, again, making sure that my waist stays level, alternating. And with this one, I would recommend just making sure your feet are fairly far apart and your knees are pushed out. And once again, the goal is to make sure the waist doesn't rotate. Okay, if I can do this for 30 seconds while feeling this in my butt, I'm going to move to the hardest level of difficulty, which is a single leg bridge. Okay, so I'm just going to raise one foot slightly off the ground, holding in this position for 30 seconds on each side. Now I want you to repeat those three things back to back for 30 seconds 3 times. So they're as a circuit, plank, side plank, bridge 3 times for 30 seconds. Try to add difficulty with each week with the goal of moving to the next level, as soon as you can. That's your core workout.